Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to Doing Business in Bentonville. I'm Andy Wilson, and I'm the host. And today, I've got a really special guest. I say a friend, a special guest, and we've known each other a long time. Kim Souza, welcome to Doing Business in Bentonville. Well, Kim is a journalist. She's also the senior analyst, Talk Business and Politics, and Northwest Arkansas Business Journal. When there is always breaking news, I just text her and say, okay, Kim, let's get in the studio and let's talk. What we're going to talk about today, our topic is Walmart. Walmart just recently completed their shareholders meeting and the associate celebration. Kim was on the inside of all of that. I was on the inside of some of that, but as a former Walmart officer, and Kim, I always look forward to our time together.
Me too. It's always great to visit and talk region.
It is, and you do such a great job. You're such a great journalist. As I mentioned, I've known you for years and years, and she said I used to be her quote person, and I think that's probably correct, right? Kim would text me and say, "I need a quote, Andy," and so I'd say, "Okay, let's see what we can do." And we always had just some good times together. And Kim, thank you. Okay, today though, what we're going to do is really get into Walmart. What happened at the shareholders meeting? I know so many of you you've read the financials and you've seen the release. We're not going to get into that. It's there. It's on the website. You can check all the financials out. What we're going to do is get in the people side of business. What Walmart is saying and doing around people, around merchandising, and around the future of what they talked about. So, Kim, again, welcome. And let's just get started. And just share with us some of your experiences attending the Walmart events.
Well, Walmart puts on a great show, and they really go out of their way to help media see what we might not already know about Walmart. Media come from all over the world to this week, and it was really a very informative week. Some things that really stuck out to me was you can't watch TV or be on social media the last few days and not see who knew. That is Walmart's new marketing campaign, and they are finally telling their own story about who they are. People know Walmart as a low price leader, lowest basket price of anything, but people don't know. A lot of people don't know about the technology arm of that company, and Walmart has really, in the last few years, invested so heavily in technology. Not only technology, but they have brought on a whole revenue producing unit. Walmart Advertising, Walmart Connect, Data Ventures. They are insulating themselves from things like tariffs and things that are beyond their control because they have this additional revenue source, membership income. They have this additional revenue stream that is really fueling that engine for Walmart. And allowing them to keep prices low, even in the face of tariffs. I love that they're starting to tell that story, that they can get you drone delivery in 30 minutes, within 30 minutes, that they've partnered with Wing recently to expand that to 5 cities, large metro areas. And they talked to us a lot about why they are investing in drone. We said, why do you want to invest in drones when your car delivery is already within an hour?
Right.
And Doug said, we're an and company. We're not an or company. Mm-hmm. We want to give people choices. Sometimes you need it in 30 minutes.
Right.
And so I applaud Walmart for thinking of themselves as an and company and giving customers more choices. That's all part of the who knew. Who knew, that they had express delivery within an hour? Who knew that your Walmart Plus membership has all kinds of perks, including if you live in one of these areas, Tampa, Houston, Orlando, that are getting these wing delivery expansion for drones. If you're a Walmart Plus member, that drone delivery is zero cost to you. It's $19.99 on top of the price of the order if you're not a Walmart Plus member. So Walmart is really thinking about growing their Walmart Plus membership, and they keep adding perks for that. That's all part of who knew.
Right.
So that was one of the things that stood out to me was the marketing campaign. And they also have invested a ton in technology. Doug said, we've done some innovative things with generative AI and agentic AI. And agentic AI, if you don't know, is artificial intelligence that is not monitored by a human agent. It really is running on its own. And Walmart is delving into that. They're doing it. They've been doing it for years. They've been investing in Ask Claude, Ask Wally, Ask Sam. Now it's Ask Sparky, which is the customer-facing shopping assistant. That is interesting because they unveiled it this week, and I gave it a try and wrote about it. Sparky was helpful with some things. Sparky's not quite smart enough to do all my shopping for me, but it did do some of my shopping for me. I know that Sparky will get smarter over time, and while I may not use Sparky that much, I like to walk the stores and see what's new and whatnot. Younger generation will use Sparky, and I think Walmart is smart in trying to court this younger generation.
And that seems to me is a major focus coming out of the shareholders meeting, the associate celebration meeting, is the younger, more Walmart is really focused on the younger shoppers. And I think Sparky's going to help that. But there's a new generation of shoppers that a lot of us have grown up with Walmart. They haven't.
Well, and there's more choices today. There's more retail choices today.
Right.
And Walmart knows that if they can court these Gen Alpha, which 8 and 9-year-olds even, if they can find you if they can find Walmart through an influencer on YouTube or some other social media,
TikTok, right?
They can become a fan of Walmart at 9 and 10 years old.
Right.
Something else Walmart is doing to court that generation, they're unveiling a new apparel line called Weekend Academy. It's geared directly to tweens, Gen Alpha. It's coming out just in time for back to school. I think it'll be in stores in July.
Right.
It's a very smart, sophisticated apparel line. They did a youth fashion show for us in the new merch building over at their new home office. And the kids looked great in the clothes. They were priced around $15, super affordable for families. And it's really a category. I don't particularly write a lot about apparel, but I am a shopper and I have grandchildren that age.
Right.
But I will tell you that is a age category that has been pretty much ignored. And unless you're going really high end, and kids grow so fast, parents these days don't want to spend a ton of money on school clothes.
Right.
Walmart's really hitting it out of the park, I think, with that. Looking at this generation, this Gen Alpha, and how we can reach them from toys to technology to apparel. They're really after the Gen Alpha generation. I think that's smart.
I do too. Because it's the future.
Yes.
And one of the things I would, and then you can speak with it. I speak about it, but to me, when I listen to all the financials and then the associate celebration and the speeches that the executives made, it is definitely truly about the future. And it's, Walmart's always done that. My almost 30 years there, we were always focused on that. But today, with technology, with AI, and all the technology advancement that you talked about, Walmart has invested in, they're very, very focused there. The last year they introduced, a lot of food items, healthy food items. You got to sample a lot of those things.
Better Good.
Yeah, Better.
New private brand.
And I think that's doing really well. In fact,
it's doing well.
So you could see that Walmart is really, really focused on the futures you talked about.
Let's talk about their investments in people.
Yes, I love it. Perfect.
One of the things that Doug said to the media was his favorite days ever in retail are the days that he can give promotions and raises. It trumps all other parts of his business. And he said, we've invested heavily in people, and the old tagline, our people make the difference. Walmart can prepare for the future, but if they don't bring their people with them, they don't have a future. And I don't care how much you invest in technology, if you don't have the right people on the bus, you're not going to make it.
Right.
And I applaud Doug McMillon and his investment in people, because it came at a cost early on. They started making those investments in people around 2018, I think 2016. And it was $1 billion and to start with, and then another $1 billion. And then they educate $1 billion in training and free college education and training. And it just seemed like Walmart was spending a lot of money on people, and their earnings were suffering. The financials were guiding down because of it. And their stock actually lost $20 million in market cap after Walmart announced a big investment in people. And I heard this week. Doug was in New York at an investor conference, and he saw that happen in the stock market. He told his pilot, hold the plane. I'm going downtown. I'm going to Wall Street. I'm going to get on Squawk Box. I'm going to tell them why it's so important to invest in people. And apparently he did that.
he did that, right.
And he stated the case. We have to have our people, and we have to invest in our people. And so they have brought wages up. Now, they get vilified in the press for having low wages. And he always says, our starting wages aren't the highest in the market, but boy, our store managers make good money. Our managers make good money. You can get promoted so easily within Walmart. You can become CEO.
Right.
He's living proof. So is John Furner. Yeah. I'm just telling you, you can start as an hourly employee, associate, and climb as high as you want to climb.
You can.
And that ladder of opportunity is really what he's focused on. I think those investments are paying off.
Yes. Okay.
I think they've made those investments in people, and now they've made those investments in technology, and now it's coming together. This is why this and their revenue producing parts of the business, the Walmart Connect, the data ventures, all of that extra income is why Walmart is set up to do very well for the next 5 to 10 years.
Kim, you again, you make that point so well. For our audience, think with me for a second. When I joined Walmart in 1976, we had 100 stores. And I grew up there. I didn't want to leave. I had multiple jobs under that same roof. And every time, Walmart would invest in me to prepare me, to equip me.
to do another
these roles. And it was a phenomenal career. The great thing about it is has even improved, as you just spoke about, which is awesome. But the point I want to make, think it with me, there at the Bud Walton Arena, there was 13,000 people. Most of those were associates from around the world in that arena. Now, let's think that for a minute. That was investing in people, bringing those associates, hourly associates from around the world to hear the message about Walmart and hear all the major leaders speak about Walmart. But here's what Doug said, and I want to underline this for all of our leaders that are watching and listening to us today. He said, the reason we're having this meeting is to listen to our people.
Okay.
Now, they shared information and educated people, but they would break out into all these small groups based upon the area that you worked at, Sam's, Walmart, International, and break out, and the leaders from Walmart would listen to the associates on how they could improve things,
Right.
things that they aren't doing they should do, and even from transportation, logistics, all the divisions. When I was with Walmart, we did the same thing. Not 13,000 because we weren't that large, but the point was Sam Walton, he would when we would travel the stores, he would say, go listen to your people. That philosophy, that culture is still there.
Yeah, I mean,
And you've written many times about it, but
you know, one of the things they had us do last week, Andy, was they let us go. They took us to one of the academies that they have at, I'm not sure what the store number is, but it's the one at the mall in Fayetteville. There's a learning academy.
359.
359. Okay. There's an academy that they built right next door to it. There's around 200 of those academies that they've built across the country to train their employees.
Oh, no.
And they actually put us through some training. They put the media through some training that day so that we could see a hands-on how it's done. And they also introduced this week an expansion to the associate to tech. That any associate or employees could train to be a technician to work on this technology that's in stores and clubs and refrigeration and whatnot that's in clubs. And so that's a program that they started last year. It was super successful. I think 138 employees went through the program and got higher paying jobs in the tech fields, the trades, and stayed at Walmart. Walmart said, I said, how do you select those people to do this? And they said, well, anybody who is working in a store, if they can get their manager to sign off on it, then they can join the tech program and associate to tech program. And so they had this circuit thing set up there for us to do. And they showed us how to connect a circuit, physically connect a circuit. One of the graduates taught us how to do that.
Yeah.
But they showed us that, and she talked to us about how it changed her life. She was working in a store, living at home, not really wanting to go to college, really wasn't her thing. She took advantage of the Associate to Tech program, and I think it's 6 weeks of 6 weeks of training, and then you do an apprenticeship type thing in a store. She was able to do all that and graduate and move up, and she got a position as a technician in a store close to where she lived. She's been able to buy a house. She's been able to upgrade her car. It has changed her life.
It's wonderful.
And I just think this is Walmart is doing this. They're doing it for truck drivers. If you want to be a truck driver, but not everybody wants to drive a truck, but a lot of people want to fix things.
Right.
and
Right.
that's what she does. She fixes things.
And, I think too, and the other thing that I think that goes along with that is, where you can work at Walmart and you can get your online degree.
Yes.
And multiple colleges around the country now many colleges around the country are participating. And so you can get your degree, you can graduate. Walmart will pay your tuition and your books while you work there, and you don't have to stay once you graduate. You can leave if you want to, but you know what people are going to do. They're going to stay. Many people are going to stay, invest in their educate, because Walmart is invested in
the retention level. Since they
Right.
began offering that, the retention level is gone up exponentially.
Well,
and people aren't leaving. I mean, they could leave, but they don't leave. That was smart.
Well, and you know what we have read, and so many people now are focused, as you just, a great example you just explained so well, is the tech side of it, where I don't want to go to college, but I want to get really good in this space, in this tech space, and if it's refrigeration or there's whatever it is, Walmart can train you and develop you, just like the example and look, it changes a person's life.
Absolutely.
That is what Walmart is. It's a great retailer, but it's so much focused on the people. And again,
well, that is part of what I think Walmart needs to do a better job in its Who Knew campaign.
Yeah.
Is telling those stories, sharing those stories about who knew that you could, be a store associate at $10.50 an hour and train for 6 weeks and then 3 months in a apprenticeship and make $70,000 a year as a technician.
Right.
I mean, that's a big thing, and Walmart's not telling that story enough. I
totally agree. And when we met with Doug at the beginning of the year, we actually talked about that, and said, you have got to get this out because it's changing and impacting people's lives in such a major way. It's just opportunities. So we talked a bit about the shareholders meeting. We talked some about the associate meeting. Now, and the people, which is so important. So now, as we think about the future, Kim, as all things you were just in, as you think a minute about the future of Walmart, they're actually growing Sam's Club. They're opening new clubs this year. International is growing. The super centers continue to grow. And so as you think,
they're growing their marketplace.
Yeah.
They're growing their advertising business. Every aspect of Walmart is growing.
Right. It is. And then you talked about, Walmart's, major focus is faster service, under hour delivery for groceries and medications and other items. You talked about that, using the drone service to do that, but also just the same day delivery.
Right.
That's happening. As you think about your time, and you were very immersed in this for several days, what other thoughts do you have? Your takeaway?
Well, I'm impressed as I've ever been with the top leadership at Walmart. I think the C-suite is as strong of a leadership as I've ever seen in my 17 years of following this company. Not to take away from other leaders that have served in those roles, but I'm just saying, pound for pound, boy, they've got strong leadership. 2 of their 4 CEOs cut their teeth internationally with great retailers, bring all that insight to retail, to Walmart. The other 2 cut their teeth right here in Arkansas and work their way up as hourly employees, but not to take away from them. They see the world differently than people who have grew up in different countries. I just think they're marrying all that together. They've got youth. They've got experience. They've got everything they need to really grow this company. They're bringing on some amazing talent to run the advertising business. They purchased Vizio, which I think is going to open up a whole new revenue stream for them.
I agree.
They're making such good decisions in terms of who they're bringing on and what they're buying and how they're investing. I just think it's a company to watch. I think even in the face of tariffs and uncertainty in the economy, I would bet on Walmart because I just think they've got their head around the problems. You know, Doug talked to us about tariffs a little bit. And Walmart's position on tariffs has not changed. 2/3 of what they sell is made, assembled, or grown in the United States. You know, China and Mexico and Canada are their largest trading partners. Walmart is impacted by tariffs, but it's not going to stop them. They are going to try to keep prices low. Prices on some things are going to go up. Don't know what, don't know how much. We'll have to see how trade policy shakes out. But Doug said, you can guarantee we're going to be competitive on price. And I love that strategy. It's not a permission for suppliers to jump up prices just because there's a tariff scare. Walmart has said, we're holding the line on prices.
Right.
And I don't feel sorry for my suppliers. Many of them have higher margins than we do. We work together because we serve the same customers, and we're going to work together to keep prices low. And I love that the way they're thinking about tariffs. Instead of making an excuse that tariffs are coming and we're going to raise prices, they've been more thoughtful about how they're talking about it. He said some prices will go up. Don't know how much. Not going to say. We're going to hold them down as long as we can, and we're going to try to keep food prices down. Patio furniture may go up a little bit. I love that because he's calming. The whole management team has a calming influence when they speak. They're charismatic. You don't have to be charismatic to be a leader, but it sure helps if you are. Yeah. And they really were thoughtful about how they talked about tariffs and didn't shy away from it. But I love that they're positioning themselves for the next 50 years. And they had to make those investments in technology and people, and those still will continue.
Right.
They got a good ground laid.
Right.
But they're going to build on that. There's going to be more investments in technology and people. There has to be. But Walmart has really set itself up for success. I believe it. Analysts all over Wall Street are clamoring that it's got to be in your portfolio no matter what the economy does.
Right.
Because they're positioned well. Any company that can grow profits ahead of sales at this time, right, you got to own.
Right. That's right. I agree. Yeah.
And they are set up to do it. And it's a whole new Walmart, a new business model. Who knew? Well,
right.
They're trying to tell us to listen up.
Well, Kim, I always enjoy having you on doing business in Bentonville, and you always have such great takes and your thoughts, especially around the things you're very passionate about, and you're very passionate about your business. And the thing that I think we wrap up on is we talk about the new campus.
Game changer.
We both have been there. If it's worth a trip to Northwest Arkansas to see it. If you've never been here, and to experience the campus and how well it's laid out. Because back to investing in people, Walmart and a lot of the family foundation was very involved in this campus because it's for the future. It's not just the life of the current leaders. It's the future.
The future.
And it's designed for one thing, and that is for productivity of people.
Yes.
And it's great space. When you park, you're 3 minutes walk from your office or less. There's great restaurants. There's great coffee shops. You can get on an e-bike and ride from building to building. It is so well done. Your thoughts? Any thoughts you have on the campus?
I think it's a game changer for Walmart because there was something nostalgic about the old building, I think, because those were the halls that Sam Walton bought. And it was kind of sad the last time I was in that building for open callbacks. In October, I was in the auditorium, and they said this is the last big meeting we're going to have in this auditorium. Last time this meeting will be held in this auditorium. And it was a little sad because they're hallowed. It's kind of hallowed ground.
Yes, I agree.
But wow, wouldn't Sam smile with this new campus?
Absolutely.
Because it is built for productivity, like you said. Let me just give you an example. I am going to be writing about this, but they have something called GSOC, and it is their Global Security Operations Center. And they had one at the old home office. I was in there years ago and interviewed their meteorologist and some of the people that work on the GSOC team. But people say, how does Walmart always know when there's going to be a hurricane? Why are they always there before FEMA?
Yeah.
Well, they got people working on it 24/7.
That's right.
365. And they had their new GSOC center at the home office. We got to tour that. And it is, wow. Now it is so much bigger and so much more capability than what they had before. They have a team working on looking at what's happening in the world, anything that could impact stores or facilities in the world, from ports shutting down, from a shooting in a neighborhood that might impact a store. I mean, they have people...
Hurricanes, tornadoes.
Weather, typhoons. I mean, earthquakes. They have people watching out for that. They have the people on one side with the world map, all the threats that are out there. In the center, a huge map that covers the whole wall. All the trucks en route from distribution center to store. All these tiny, tiny dots that represent trucks.
Right.
Because there could be a trucking accident.
Right.
They're monitoring that. They got a team over here monitoring cyber attack threats.
Yep.
So they are really vigilant
Yes.
at keeping watch around the world, things that could impact the business and the people who work for Walmart. Yeah. They have a whole brand new area for when there is a hurricane, and we're just now, hurricane season has just started.
Right.
And they have a whole new area where when a hurricane is making its way to the U.S. or to one of the Puerto Rico or where they have stores, they will assemble a team who will go to this area, and they will bring suppliers in, and they will work to mitigate what can we do, how fast can we get there, how many trucks do we need. They will do that, and they will mobilize, and they will get there before the storm hits.
Right.
That's why Walmart is there with water and can get your insulin if you need it. I mean, that's why Walmart is there, because they are working on it.
Yeah.
People don't know.
That's right. And you did a great job explaining that. And, as we wrap up and we step back for a moment, it brings, great satisfaction to us that Walmart is doing what you're doing. They do make mistakes. We know that. But
Not perfect.
right, but here's the thing. I think I would like for our viewers to take away is that there are things here that you can learn, that thing you can take and evaluate your business, look at your business. But the most important thing that we have talked about today is the reason that you described about the emergency process is because it's about people. Again, you began the show talking about the investment of people. We ended the show about help protecting
People.
the people, and that is the underlying of Walmart. And they just happen to sell merchandise, But I think it evident, in all the conversations we've had today, in the shareholders meeting, the associate celebration, it's really at the end of the day, still what Sam Walton said, it's about the people.
Well, they don't have a business without their people.
That's right. Right.
And I think Sam said there are no cash registers in the home office. So as nice as it is, if you don't take care of your people in the stores and distribution centers, you don't have a business.
Yeah.
And I love that they're doing that. I see it. I know there are naysayers and there are people who say they could do better. We could all do better.
Right.
But you have to admit that they are making strides in the right direction. And that's what I would say. They're not perfect. They're not the end all be all to everybody yet. Right. They're not going to stop trying to get there.
Right.
And I just think they've got the right people on the bus, and they're headed in the right direction.
I would agree. Well, Kim Souza, thank you always.
Thank you.
And you're always welcome doing business in Bentonville. And you need to check Kim out. I mean, as I mentioned at the top of the show, she's a journalist. She's senior analyst, talk business and politics and Northwest Arkansas Business Journal. Check her out. She's on LinkedIn. She does a great job of reporting, and you'll enjoy her articles. So make sure you check those out. Again, thank you for being here.
You bet. Anytime.
Okay. Everyone, thank you again for joining us, and thank you for all the wonderful things you're doing and sharing, doing business in Bentonville. But we just completed our 100th podcast, and we celebrated that, and we're excited. And we just happen now to be in over 100 countries with viewers, so thank you for that. We appreciate you, everyone. Thank you. Have a wonderful day, everyone.